Welcome back to our channel. We have the Jefferson Nickel from the United States from 1980, and this of course is the 1980D Jefferson Nickel, as you can see right here underneath the date. There's the dia says "In God We Trust" on the left, Liberty, with a star. See the star right there between the Liberty and the 1980. Let's take a better look at it. So if we look right into it, so that's actually a star there in between the two. This is a kind of lumpy star because it's getting crushed down a little bit, and when I tell you that it's AD for the Denver Mint, you'll have to believe me, because this does not look much like AD either. It's the so-called filledium, and it gets filled just by use. It's not that it was filled with the mint. It's just that's kind of what happens when you crush nickel a little bit. It kind of melds together. So we see it's Jefferson, and he's facing to the left. These nickels were first made in 1938, and they were made until the 2000s, and then they changed the Jefferson on them as part. First they did it as part of the Lewis and Clark coins, and then they did it permanently so in a Lewis and Clark coins. They changed the Jefferson on them, and they also changed the back on them. And so the Lewis and Clark coins, if you're looking for some fun ones to get them, there are some great Lewis and Clark coins for their transcontinental expedition in 1804, and those coins, one of them has a buffalo on the back, which is really fun to have a buffalo nickel from the 2000s. All right, if we flip this over, we see that it has Monticello on the back. It says E pluribus unum on the top. Down at the bottom, it says United States of America. Above that, it says 5 cents right there, and the United States does not actually have a nickel coin, and in many places in the United States they say it's a nickel and they mean that it's worth 5 cents, but there in no place on this coin does it say a nickel. And of course the tricky part of that is on no place on the 10-cent coin in the United States does it say 10 cents. It's a dime, so the dime is a 10 cents coin without the 10 cents on it. The nickel is a 5 cents coin without the nickel on it, and this has Monticello. Now, a lot of people get these nickels and they say, well, I saw one for 25 online for the 1980D, and why isn't mine, or why is mine worth 25 or more? One of the things that you have to have on these nickels is the what they call a full steps version. So right here where these steps are, where it's all kind of mashed down, there's actually 5 steps there, and when they grade these, they grade these by how many of the steps you can see and how far across you can see the steps. So if you can see them all the way across from the left to the right in this picture here, right above my finger, you can't really see any steps. You see a little bit of a line there. And also, if you look at this, there's 3 windows up here. There's a doorway here and 2 windows on the side. There's 3 windows on each side here that you can hardly see in this coin. So this is not going to be the $25 one, but it's going to turn out that there's almost number $25 ones. If you do have a coin and it does have the 5 full steps, you're still not going to get any money from it unless you get it graded by one of the coin grading services. If you can get it graded at Ms. 65 or above, you might be able to get 25 for it. There are a few error coins, but the chances of you getting one of those are low. And I also wanted to note that it does say Monticello underneath right here. See the M.O.N.T.I.C.E.L.L.O. That's the name of this mansion, and of course it was a Thomas Jefferson's mansion. This coin is made out of nickel. You see that it has a smooth edge or smooth rim. It does not have any lines on the rim, and then when we get to this part, you'll see that if you really have a fine coin, you'll see the back of the ponytail where you'll see the little tie in it. You'll see more lines in his hair as it comes down, and then there is something you might see right here, and that's the engraver's initials right here. You can see, let's see if we can show it to you right here, the F and the S right down there for the engraver's initials. So that's something that you want to look for. Also, if you can see the FS underneath, at least you've got to start, and then if you can read all of this, that's a second. Some people say look where it's got to be a defect. See how these are all touching the rim, what happens with the rims on these, and let's give you a good show of it. If we can, the rim get smashed down as they used in machines and get counted and stuff, and so see how the rim is a lot wider on this side than it is on that side that's just for the coin getting smashed down. If this one in this condition, if the letters touch, you're not going to get anything extra for it. In fact, there's hardly any that are offset. Enough so you're ever going to get anything from them being offset. You will also never get anything from this filled D version, so if you're looking for a filled D, it's fun. It's interesting, but it's not of any value. How many did they make? Well, they made 500 million of the 1980 DS. They made 600 million, or more than 500 million of the 1980 PS, and they made a few million of the mint sets. So if you get this coin in uncirculated condition without being graded, it's worth about $1 to $2. That's if nobody's ever used it. So imagine what this one right here is worth. I can tell you it's worth 5 cents. Thanks for watching my videos, and don't start with a surprising fact about the rarity of the 1989 USA 5-cent coin, such as its low mintage or unique features that could make it valuable. Introduce the 1989 USA 5-1 coin and its significance in coin collecting, setting the stage for why viewers should care about its potential value. Discuss the common misconceptions about the value of older coins and the challenges collectors face in determining what makes a coin rare or valuable. Explore the features of the 1989 USA 5-cent coin, including its design, mint marks, and any known variations that collectors should be aware of. Reveal the current market value of this coin and any auction results or sales that highlight its worth, creating excitement around the potential for profit. Summarize the key points discussed regarding the rarity and value of the 1989 USA 5-cent coin, reinforcing its significance in the coin collecting community. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of U.S. coinage, specifically the 1989 Jefferson Nickel. If you're a coin collector, you probably already know how interesting these little pieces of history can be, so whether you found one in your pocket change or you're considering adding it to your collection, let's take a closer look at the value and history of the 19,895-cent coin. First, let's talk about the design. The 1989 Jefferson Nickel features the familiar design of President Thomas Jefferson. On the obverse, you'll find a portrait of Jefferson created by the renowned artist Felix Schlag. This has been the standard design for the nickel since 1938. With some minor modifications over the years, of course. You'll also notice the year 1989, which marks the specific issue of this coin, moving to the reverse side. The design shows Monticello, the famous home of President Jefferson in Virginia, which has been featured on the reverse of the Jefferson Nickel since 1938. This iconic structure is a symbol of Jefferson's architectural vision and his legacy in American history. Now that we've covered the design, let's discuss the value of the 1989 Jefferson Nickel. If you're wondering how much this coin is worth, it depends on its condition and whether it's been circulated or not. Let's break it down. If you've got a regular circulated 1989 nickel, it's worth about 5 cents. The face value of the coin. These coins are very common, so they're not worth much more than what you'd expect to pay for them in regular circulation. But if you happen to find a 1989 nickel in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been used much and still looks brand new, its value could be a little higher. In uncirculated condition, a 1989 nickel can be worth between 25 cents to $1, depending on how pristine it is. Now, if you've got one of these rare gems in proof condition, that's a whole different ballgame. Proof coins are specially minted and are usually produced for collectors. A proof 1989 nickel can sell for anywhere from $1.50 to $3.00, depending on demand and the state of the coin. So, while the 1989 Jefferson Nickel may not be worth a fortune, it's still a nice coin to add to your collection, especially if you find one in exceptional condition. Coins like this offer a glimpse into U.S. history, and they're a great way to connect with the past. Did you know that the Jefferson Nickel was originally introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, which had been in circulation since 1913? The coin has seen several design changes over the years, but the core design, featuring Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, has remained remarkably consistent. Another cool fact is that the 1989 nickel was minted at all three U.S. Mint: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. So if you're a collector, you might want to check your coins for mint marks, which will tell you where they were made. And finally, as a collector, you might also be interested in knowing that the 1989 nickel was part of the regular annual circulation, so it didn't have any special commemorative status. Like some other years, still, it's an important piece of numismatic history. The 1989 Jefferson Nickel is a part of the Jefferson Nickel series, which has a rich history dating back to its introduction in 1938. Here's a deeper look at the history of the coin and the significance of its design, including the 1989 issue. The Jefferson Nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel, which had been in circulation since 1913. The design of the Buffalo nickel, though iconic, was prone to wear and tear due to its relief design, making it difficult to strike consistently. The U.S. Mint decided it was time for a change, leading to the creation of the Jefferson Nickel, the obverse front of the Jefferson Nickel to a clad composition of copper and nickel, which remains to this day. The 1989 Jefferson Nickel still carries the same basic design that was first introduced in 1938 with Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the front and Monticello on the reverse. Over the years, the design has been refined, but the overall look has remained quite similar, making the 1989 issue a classic example of this long-standing design. The 1989 Jefferson Nickel was minted at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The mint mark found on the reverse side indicates where the coin was minted for regular circulation. Most 1989 nickels were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, while San Francisco struck proof coins for collectors. The 1989 nickel is part of the long history of Jefferson nickels, and while it doesn't carry a specific commemorative significance, it represents a time when the design had become firmly entrenched in American coinage. By 1989, the design of the nickel was a familiar and beloved image in everyday life, and its continuity symbolized the stability and heritage of U.S. coinage. The Jefferson Nickel, especially in its 1989 form, holds a place in American numismatics and cultural history as a symbol of the country's evolution. While the design was largely unchanged from earlier years, each new minting year brought a fresh perspective on the coin's history and value. In 2004, the U.S. Mint introduced a new series of Jefferson Nickels to celebrate the bicentennial of the Louisiana Purchase. Thanks for watching my videos, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon.